Welcome to Genyurved. Today I brought a beautiful product for you called Fibreek. This Fibreek is extracted from fenugreek. This product works for diabetes. Today let us discuss about diabetes. Diabetes is nothing but failure of the blood sugar metabolism. If the blood sugars are high than the normal levels, it is called diabetes. This diabetes is because of the failure of insulin metabolism and insulin to reach to this particular cells which we call it as insulin resistance. See, the food what you have taken inside the body, especially these carbohydrates, will be converted into glucose and it will be absorbed to the blood. This particular absorbed glucose or carbohydrates, they circulate in the blood and they got to reach to the cells. Exactly this particular transfer of this particular glucose to the cells, insulin play a very important role. This diabetes is due to the failure of insulin production. Either there is no sufficient insulin production or the produced insulin is not sufficient to transfer this particular glucose to the cells. That means it is because lack of insulin production and insulin resistance. These are all the two reasons for this particular diabetes. This diabetes can be classified as type 1 and type 2, gestational diabetes and pre-diabetics. This type 1 diabetes can be referred, it is due to autoimmune disorder. Because of certain viral fevers, there is a damage of beta cells which is situated in this particular islet of Langerhans in the pancreas. Due to this, the insulin production is almost nil, where you require outside insulin to treat this particular diabetes. This particular diabetes is called insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, IDDM. The second one is type 2 diabetes, where the insulin production is not sufficient to metabolize your food, or there is a failure mechanism in this particular transfer of this. That means insulin may not be received to the cells, or there is insulin resistance. And third one is gestational diabetes. Normally this gestational diabetes occurs during pregnancy because of hypertension, and this is normally reversible. And pre-diabetics, another category. Normally this particular pre-diabetes can be defined that there is sugars little bit higher sugars, but not that higher where it can be classified as diabetic. Whatever said and done, this particular diabetes got to be treated because this is highly dangerous. The failure of this particular insulin mechanism or sugar metabolism leads to lack of energy to the cells. Cells means tissue, tissue means organs. That means these organs cannot function properly. You know very well that 60% of our glucose is required only for the brains. And if there is no sufficient glucose or energy to the brain, all the bodily functions will be paralyzed. How do you know that particular diabetes? This first symptom is polyuria. It means a frequent urination. And second one is polydipsia. Polydipsia is one thing which can refer to uncontrolled thirst. You will tend to drink water continuously, which leads to again polyuria. And unexpected weight loss, fatigability, excessive hunger, and blurred vision. These are all the signs and symptoms of this particular diabetes. And the causes for this particular diabetes is genetics. That means it is a hereditary. If you have any family member in your house, you will tend to get this particular diabetes. Of course, it may differ between this late onset and early onset. Early onset of diabetes is due to definitely genetics, but it occurs at the early age, which we call it as maturity early onset. Of course, juvenile diabetes is for the children where the insulin production is almost nil. And autoimmune disorder, certain viral fevers, they damages this particular beta cells which is situated in the islet of Langerhans in the pancreas. Due to this insulin production will be impaired, and due to this type 1 diabetes is the resultant. Of course, obesity is another root cause for this particular diabetes. Poor diet and sedentary lifestyles. These are all the factors which is contributing factors for this particular diabetes. Of course, stress is also a root cause. There are several complications with this diabetes. Because of this particular high sugars in the blood, it damages the blood vessels. And once the blood vessels are damaged, you will tend to have this particular heart problem and results into stroke. And because of lack of sufficient glucose to these tissues, cells, and definitely each and every organ, they malfunction or they may not function sufficiently. Blurred vision, and you will have kidneys problems. Definitely, it is called nephropathy, diabetic retinopathy, diabetic neuropathy. The nervous system will be damaged because of lack of glucose. So these are all the risk factors. But whatever said and done, this diabetes got to be handled very carefully. These particular diabetic instances are available in our epics. That means this diabetes is as old as human being. It is well described in Ramayana. There is a bird called Samprati, which is a brother of Jatayu. He suffered with diabetes because all the symptoms of diabetes, that such as polyuria, polydipsia, or you can see in this particular Sampati bird, and it is well described. And second character is Ravanasura, brother called Kumbhakarna. This Kumbhakarna is having excessive thirst and he drinks what you call gallons of water, and he eats excessively uncontrolledly. Of course, he is obese. So these two instances are well described in this particular epics. And Lord Ganesha, because of his high amount of sweet eating and because of his obesity, there are certain discussions about Lord Ganesha also. He may have this particular diabetes. It may be funny, but it's a fact. That is the reason we normally offer all the helps to him in the puja. Whatever said and done, this particular diabetes got to be controlled. We have an excellent product called Fibreek. Fibreek is a product of fenugreek, which we extracted it from fenugreek. That is the reason we named it as Fibreek. The substance which we have extracted from fenugreek is called galactomannan. The other name for this particular galactomannan is soluble fiber. That is the reason we named this particular product as Fibreek. Fiber from fenugreek, Fibreek. This particular Fibreek, unlike other galactomannans which occurs normally in the tamarind seeds and guragam and everything, but this is at the 1:1 combination. One galactose occurs with one mannose. That is the reason this particular combination is unique and works for diabetes. If you analyze this particular fenugreek, fenugreek contains 19% protein, 20% galactomannan, and fraction of percentage of this particular protodigestion, that's around 2.5 to 5%, and phenolactin around another 2%, and 4-hydroxysilicon. These are all the substances which this particular fenugreek contains. That means this fenugreek is a wonderful product. In each every item, from each item like 4-hydroxysilicon, furanestatin, and saponins, and this particular protodigestion and galactomannan, we have different products for different indications. That is the reason this particular fenugreek is well described in our epics. Surprisingly, this discussion of this fenugreek is in Bible. In Psalms, it is called 11:5. It's called leeks. Leeks is nothing but this particular fenugreek. They well described about this particular product. Even in Quran, also about this fenugreek, it is described indirectly. If you come across this particular fenugreek, exchange it with gold. This is what exactly Prophet Muhammad told. Because of its unique characteristics, unique composition, it is well described in every holy textbook. However, this particular galactomannan is available to the tune of 20%, but when you extract, you don't get more than 16%. That means I am giving you 82% galactomannan in this product called Fibreek. First, what we do is we remove this particular bitter taste from this particular fenugreek. That means debiterize. Then deodorize. We remove this particular odor also from this particular fenugreek seeds. From that particular balanced material, we extract this particular galactomannan to the tune and standardize to 82%. That means I am giving 82% galactomannan to you. The other name for this particular galactomannan is soluble fiber, and there is another 12% insoluble fiber is also available in this particular fenugreek. Both put together 94% fiber I am giving with this particular product. 2.5 to 5 grams of powder. What you have to do is you have to mix with water, soak it for 5 minutes, and drink before breakfast, before lunch, and before dinner. This particular substance, along with water, it absorbs the water and forms a jelly-like structure. The amount of food what you take will be trapped in this particular jelly, and this jelly forms a layer towards the surrounding the food and travels throughout your digestive system. When it reaches to the intestines, it leaches some carbohydrates very slowly. That means it avoids sudden spikes, and the glucose is released to the blood very slowly. So the amount of the insulin produced in your body will be sufficient to handle this particular glucose. It's a wonderful product. We have been talking about this oats. You know, what is the percentage of soluble fiber in oats? It is only 4%. The total fiber in the oats is not even 10 to 11%. That means this particular product, Fibreek, contains 94% fiber. Don't you feel this is a very good product? This controls diabetes and other complications also. In coming episodes, we'll discuss about this particular product. In what other indications this particular Fibreek works. This particular episode is concerned, we are talking about diabetes, and it's a wonderful product, Fibreek. After watching this video, if you feel like, kindly like it and share it with your friends. It may be useful for them or for their relatives. If you want to order this product, Kindly call this number. We will deliver this product to your doorsteps. Thank you.